No moi kaikki, it's Mikko. Here's information about your upcoming A2.1 exam here at NLRC. And let me just remind you that this is only how we conduct our exams. This is not some universal way Finnish proficiency is tested. So NLRC conducts A2.1 proficiency exams because your contract of employment actually lists that you need to have that skill level, and we need to be sure that you have it, or otherwise we would not be fulfilling our mandate to the manpower agencies that we subcontract for. But worry not, we do allow retakes, so failing the exam is not the end of the world. But if it goes very poorly, we might ask you to review with another group for quite a while before allowing you to take the exam again. And this video only applies if you are taking an A2.1 exam in class. If you are tested online, then you will take a so-called A2.1 assessment, not an exam. It's important to get the terminology right, because the A2.1 assessment is different, and there is or will be a separate video on that. The test consists of speaking, writing, listening, reading, and vocabulary. And the total is 100 points, and you need 70 points to pass the exam. The oral part consists of 3 tasks. You will do 2 of them with an instructor, either face-to-face or online, so that you will be on site with our staff and the instructor will be online. Oral task number 1 is about random conversation starters. So the instructor will give you some small talk questions in Finnish, and you two will discuss those briefly. And this task takes 5 to 10 minutes. Oral task number 2 is a role play where you are a nurse working in Finland and are filling in an admission form via phone with a Finnish patient who is currently at a hospital in the Philippines and doesn't speak much English. So you have to fill in the form given to you in English, but you have to ask questions from the patient for the form in Finnish. And this task takes roughly 15 minutes. Oral task number 3 is a recording task where you will be given a scenario in English, and you will then have some time to record a brief voicemail about it in Finnish. This could be something like telling your friend that you are gonna arrive a little late to your meeting because your train is late or something like that. And all 3 parts are done independently but under supervision, and the oral part is worth 30 points more than any other part in the exam. The listening part is worth 25 points, and there are 5 tasks. In the first one, you have to listen to an announcement and catch or deduce what time or day things happen, like a store closes and opens or a bus leaves. In part 2, you have to match a day and the weather and know numbers well enough to catch the temperature. And in the third task, it's about agreeing on or rescheduling something, and you need to know how dates work in Finnish. The fourth listening task is always mainly about post positions. You have to catch where various items would go in the picture based on a dialogue between a nurse and a resident. There are also additional questions, and those are discussed in the middle of the conversation, so make sure you read the assignment thoroughly. The last listening task is a long dialogue where you will be given a set of true and or false statements in English in the order they appear in the dialogue. All but the first clip will be played 3 times. The vocabulary part consists of 6 parts. It's worth 15 points. First, you have to give a noun that fits under the given umbrella terms in Finnish when applicable. And in task 2, you have to name 4 things in Finnish out of 5. The next one is similar. You have to write the basic form of any verb that could somehow describe the action in the picture. And the pictures are intentionally a little vague, so many options might work. In task 4, you have to write the basic form of a noun in a sentence, so that's the form you would find in a dictionary, the form without any endings. In task 5, you have to choose a right alternative that works in context of the given conversation. But do note that in this one, choosing a wrong one will lose points. Leaving a box blank does not lose points. Task number 6 is similar, but now you have to choose the expression that best matches the given intent in English. The reading part consists of 3 tasks. It's worth 15 points. Most tasks are about ticking the right alternative with some occasional blanks. The first part has 3 short messages, an invoice, a conversation between 2 people regarding an accident, and some sort of announcement or a confirmation message. The second task is an ad that you have to skim through to find relevant information that's asked in the questions. And the final task has a daily task list about various residents, and you then have to find answers to questions about it in English. And finally, the writing part has 3 tasks and it's worth 15 points. In the first task, you have to answer a set of questions as an icebreaker to your new Finnish language group in Finland. And in the second task, it's about writing a brief note about some issue at work or at home. And in the final task, you need to write a short message to your flatmate based on a to-do list. The list has minen nouns, the verbal nouns, and you have to say what you did already and what the flatmate has to do when they get home later that day. That's the overall structure of the exam. The types of the tasks will remain the same in all exams, but the content will vary. So this sample exam shown here will never be your actual exam. So make sure you know the material in the textbooks and come well prepared. If you are wondering about what to review, look at the A2 checklist for functions that we've covered in the training so far. I also highly encourage you to review vocab, since that's specifically tested in the vocab and the reading parts. For the oral part, make sure that you know the basics needed in spoken interaction, especially how to ask for clarification in Finnish or how to signal that you don't understand, because you will not lose points for normal functions that you would perform in everyday life as well, like asking, signaling that you have no idea what's going on and so on. That is totally normal and accepted at this level and will not lose you any points. Okay, so that is what the A2.1 exam is roughly about. If you have any questions, ask us on Discord. Otherwise, onnea kokeeseen! Good luck with the exam. Moi moi!